Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Ron. And guess Ron loves kids. Right in there. Bam. And we got some things going on. We got some things going on. So this month we got a few things going on. So first and foremost, we know that hey, there we go. We know that this month is Pride Month. We know this is Pride Month, so celebrates the LGBTQIA plus. Hopefully, I said that right. Get that community involved, and also, this month is also Caribbean American Heritage Month as well. So we'll be talking about a lot of different things, going through a lot of different dynamics and whatnot. And hopefully we can get into tonight as far as how a lot of this affects our topic for tonight. So if you guys need to get a chance to, please, a no, ain't no goof. We in here. We in here. We're live at 9 o'clock. Yes. I'm pretty much going to be holding it down until Elle and Toby shows up and whatnot. But yes, so we're gonna start off like how we normally would be doing. You know, how was your guys' weekend? I know it's been a week. I know we celebrated our our 3 year anniversary. 2 year, 3 year, two. I don't know. I keep forgetting. I forget. I know we've been on for a while, but we just celebrated our anniversary with you guys, and so it was amazing. We had a lot of people come up on the stream and just talk about the show, what's it, how it's been, how they've been riding with us, supporting us, rooting for us. But at the same time, it's like just throwing out some new topics as far as what we should talk about next, what we should dig into next, and just a lot of things. So it's nice. Ooh, Guy Sensei taking the anime spin to it. We might have to tap into that one. We might have to tap into that one because that is a very, very. I wouldn't call it an unusual dynamic, but it's very unique. It is very much unique, and we if we have time to explore that, we surely will, But at the same time, oh man, he brings Guy Sensei. He brings a lot. He brought a lot, and he said a lot without really saying a whole lot. If you guys know what I mean, basically like this. He said a whole lot in a short amount of time. Very much short. Hey, what's the word?
Hey,
What's the word?
how's it going? How's it going?
Ah, bam. Going good. Had to bring my mic down. I forgot it was still up. Ah,
So you've just been
so
kind
yeah,
of talking to them?
I've been talking to them, and hopefully they've been hearing me. And if not, oh well, GG's. But yeah, no, it was pretty much was asking, how was the weekend? And again, another thank you for the chat coming in. I know Chad, he's in here. Toby
hmm
for pulling up on
Hey.
us last week. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm.
no, last week was awesome.
Dang, yes.
Yeah.
Last week was amazing.
Like
Last
it felt like sorry,
No, go for it.
it felt like it was so long ago. I guess because like it was literally the last day of May
Hmm.
and of course this is just how weeks work. So like it's the 7th day of June, but it just feels like we've been in June for like a good while, but this is the first Tuesday
Mm,
in June.
right, right,
Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, it's funny you said that too because even just looking back on last week and it just pretty much kind of down days like I know for me and my kids and the students that I deal with, this is our actual last week for being in school. This
Okay.
this is our last week, and coincidentally, last week would have been our official last week, but because of school closures due to COVID and some other things that had gone on to play, they had to add in a few more days, just to kind of make up, which
Right.
I get it. And
Okay.
so instead of last week being the last week for school, this week is the last week of school. And it's been this past school year has been a ride. It's been a ride. And so now I am shifting my focus as far as wanting to go back, but more so in a different capacity.
Okay.
So going to see how that goes. Going to
Okay.
see where that goes.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how about you, El? How was your weekend?
Um, my weekend was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, Saturday we had like a tropical storm or almost a tropical storm, so I didn't really do anything. It was just raining all day, or at
Mm-hmm.
least most of the day. Um, but Sunday, funny. I wouldn't call it funny, but it was interesting, I should say. And I've been trying to like support, black businesses, especially people that I know, friends that I know. And one of my good friends is a professional cuddler. And I was like, oh
Really?
yeah. And I was like, let me actually do this because I totally like it's weird because like when you think of like a business, you're always thinking of like, like a restaurant or
Mm-hmm.
like a like something like that, like something like to like or like you buy a t-shirt or like something like like something like that. So I was just a couple of weeks ago my friend shared with me that he was going to be on like a live stream about like cuddling because I've known he was like a professional cuddler for years now. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, cool, let me watch this. And he was telling me how, well, he's not telling, but he was, on the live stream, he was talking about how like it's kind of harder for him as a man to like find, clients. And even though he's like the only one in Florida, it seems, and like it's hard for him to like find clients and all that. It's like, but it's understandable because he's a man, and like I guess also like a black man too. But and I was just like, oh my goodness, and I really thought of that. Like I always like kind of assumed. Well, I don't like really sit here and like think about this, but like I didn't think he was like having trouble finding clients because a
Mm-hmm.
he's like the only one in South Florida, um, and two, like I'd assume like a man would have it easier, but like hearing him say that, it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like a man wouldn't be easier, like for any gender. So like it's like, yeah, like a woman, like a woman cuddling another woman. It's like, okay, like understandable. Like it'd be like safer and like what have you. Like a man would probably prefer a woman to cuddle with, um, than like another man, especially if they were like straight. So I didn't really like think about that or realize that. And like if you look at the other people in like other like states and like how much they charge, some of them charge like 100 an hour, 200 an hour, and like my friend charges like $60 an hour. And he seemed to be like the cheapest one too. And I figured, like, okay, it's just helping to find like clientele and whatnot. And but yeah, so I was just like, let me sign up for it. Let me do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was cool. Like it's always like a little like because I hang out with him pretty often, and we're
Hmm.
usually just like talking and hanging out. So it's just like, but I trust him like a whole lot. Like like I really care about him. Like I love him and everything. But it was just like, oh yeah, all right, let's like platonically cuddle, and I was like, oh, this is actually it's actually pretty nice. It was pretty
There
nice,
you go.
and I was happy to like
Nice.
support him too.
Hmm. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Awesome. And then, of course, chat for you guys as well. You not out of the loop. Please let us know how your weekend was. Type that in the chat box so we can um, see it, blow it up, all of the good stuff. Because we want to hear from you guys too. I know that some of you guys are on Discord. That's cool. That's great. And some of you guys are watching through Twitch. Again, that's cool. That's great. But we still want to reach out to you guys as well. We still want to hear from
Right,
your
right,
stories as well. Still want to hear from you. Still want to hear from you.
right,
But
for sure.
yeah,
I
because go ahead.
oh no no no, like you go ahead.
Okay, because what I was going to say was basically what I was going to say was again, we just want to hear from you. We want to check in with you guys, and if possible, just do a mental health check in. And be just
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I'm dealing with. Blah blah blah. You don't have to tell us the whole everything what's going on, but even if it's just like a little tidbit here and there, you know, it's okay. This is our space,
Mm-hmm.
and we created this space for each other in mind, and so have at it, have at
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh boy,
Ooh, jeez. I'm sorry, Chad.
yes, yes. It
Ah,
almost
shit.
seems when it rains, it pours. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything is working out for you, Chad.
Yeah, man. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I can't say like, oh, I've been there because I don't, of course, 100% know what Chad is going through. But like what you said, Ron, it's like when it rains,
Hmm.
it pours. Like it just like really does. Like
Yes.
I felt like I'm gonna say all of April, but like consistently, like over and over again, like shit was just like kept happening in April, and I think even like a little bit of May too, and then like shit started to kind of just like normalize. I was like, why the heck do I keep having like just like endless bad luck? Like,
Right. Right. Oh yeah, I've been there. That
yeah,
part I can't say. Yes.
yeah, it is just like it's like why God, why me? It's like what did I do? Like what am I supposed to learn from this? Like this is all just shitty. Like it's
Oh man. At the end of the day, yes.
like,
Oh yeah. 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 You want to blow that one up?
ah,
No, I get
yeah,
it. That the
jeez,
yes.
jeez, nah, man, man, nah, I'm sorry, Chad. That is just fucking rough. That's fucking rough.
Yes.
And like
Yes.
two of the things Chad mentioned has to do with family and family drama, family mess, family news is always just the hardest. It is just
Mm,
like the hardest thing. So like no, like no, like it's really just like fucking rough. Like I don't want to be like that person. It's like, oh, let me share my thing because like Like this is Chad's space. This is Chad's moment. Like, but
Yes.
like I totally like, you know, it's like a someone with like a big family with several siblings. If two things are happening to my siblings at the same time, I'm like fuck. And then like, especially when it comes to like medical things too, it's just like,
Yes.
it's rough. Like, you know, like just try to take it one day at a time, you know, like,
Hmm.
but like, it's definitely rough. It's definitely rough. Like,
Agreed.
yeah, like,
Agreed.
yeah, it's, and I feel like it's just like, yeah, I take it day by day, but then like each day is like, good news, please. You know,
Right.
or
Like,
make it,
please.
please. Is it some more shitty shit to add to the shit. Yeah, take it. Like, can I take
Oh man. Oh, that was rich.
this? Yeah. Oh god, no, but jeez, man, no, I'm sorry, dude. I really am. Like, I get that. But yeah, I'm glad that you're here though. Like, hopefully,
Yes.
like, you know, we could just make it just moderately less shitty, at least.
Agreed.
Yeah. We can't take any of the shit away, unfortunately. However, we can make you laugh. So,
That is one thing we can do. We can
yeah.
provide you some comedic relief. Well, Elle can. She's good at that.
Oh, thanks.
Me, I'm kind of iffy.
I think you're great.
Dog.
Oh, did you well, I guess Toby can share when he comes on. Like, Toby's like out dealing with like some car stuff, which everybody pretty much knows he's like looking for a new car. So
Mhm.
hopefully, you know, something happens, something good happens. Oh, no, you can never bring
Yeah,
us down. Yeah, like we get it. Like we get it. But yeah. Um. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, what else to Oh, I have something that's actually funny that happened today. So I see my therapist on Tuesdays,
mhm.
and like, you know, he's always telling me to like go out places and with friends to like meet people, like potentially guys or whatever. Because I'm a sad, lonely single broad, and he will say. And so he was like, "Oh, you know, definitely go to like the grocery store." He was like, "Oh, next time you go to the grocery store, make sure like you keep your head up, look and see like who else is looking at you." I was like, "Okay," because apparently people check people out at the grocery store. He wasn't the first person I've heard this. I know I mentioned this before on the stream, where apparently that's like one of the best places to meet people, or where people are like really checking people out, is at the grocery store. So okay. So it's like, all right, whatever. So I go to the grocery store. I go to Trader Joe's. I'm walking around, and of course, like I'm legitimately shopping. I'm not like there just to look for guys. Like I'm legitimately shopping. Like I needed shit for my house. So, so I'm shopping, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta like look around to see who's looking at me. I was like, no one. I was like, all right, or like, so you gotta, you know, like go up to the next cute guy you see. He said like to go up to the next, you know, like the first cute guy you see, and like try to make small talk. I was like, okay. So, you know, I'm looking around, looking at guys. I'm like, all right, no, married, no, no, has kids, old, no, no, you know, like just like scanning around. You know? Like, why do I live in the suburbs? And hey, Matios Rafael Negas Estafanos.
Okay.
Yes. Nice to meet you. Nice for you to join in. And yes, we are the Melanated Council. Thank you.
Mm.
And we are celebrating Pride Month this month for sure. Ah, so yeah, in the Mayo Wakanda. Mayo Wakanda. Is that a joke? That's kind of funny. That's
Yes.
actually pretty funny. I fell for that. I fell for that. I'll take that. Yeah. So I think it's Eritrea. I think Eritrea is best. I don't think it's Eritrea. I remember of all people like Tiffany Haddish because like I think her father is from there. Pronounced it, and I was like Eritrea or something. I'm probably butchering it. I apologize. But yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah, no. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, for real.
Yeah,
For real,
that's
for
all.
real.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's always great seeing like people from like different or from different countries.
Mm.
Yeah, no, for sure. What was I saying? I was like looking around at Trader Joe's and I'm like, all right, there's nobody here. I guess next time I go to the grocery store, I'll try to make small talk with the next cute guy I see. And yes, the motherland. Okay, so you are in Africa. So you're in or Eritrea. I don't know how to pronounce that. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I'd love to
Mm-hmm.
go to Africa one day. Two of my sisters have actually. One went to Uganda, the other one went to Kenya. Because like her husband has like a cousin in Kenya, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but my other sister went to Uganda. She went there for like school. She's the one who went to
Mm.
Harvard, so she had to go there
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so I'll finish the story real quick. Um, I'm leaving. I'm leaving Trader Joe's. Hey Mish, I'm leaving
Hey,
Trader Joe's,
me.
and as soon as I'm leaving, there's an absolutely gorgeous guy walking in. He's like getting his shopping cart, and I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like
Ha!
I was so mad. And like I did say, "Hey, how are you doing?" At least I did say something, and he was
There you
just like,
go.
"Hi," whatever. But I was like, "Gosh," because like that, like I would have talked to him. I would have tried to like actually strike up a conversation of some kind. But like no, I was like, why didn't he just come in 10 seconds sooner? Like I literally wanted to just be like, "Yo, why are you late?" Like
Wow.
so, like I wanted to just and I thought like it probably would have worked too. I was like, "Yo, dude, are you serious?" He was like, "Oh, what?" Like I was just mad. But I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, I feel like that's another joke God is just playing. Like that is just like that wasn't even funny. That's the thing. Like
Oh,
I'm trying it
man.
was very I do not mean it like this was at Trader Joe's. This wasn't at Hot Guy Publix. Because there's a problem.
Chat.
What is it coming
Oh,
earlier?
the bad side.
Shut up. Coming early already. Damn.
Yes.
Oh man. Oh man. I was like, yeah, it's kind of a bad thing.
No,
Like,
don't try to apologize now, Chad.
no,
No.
no, no.
Mm-mm. You
Rule
said it.
number one:
You
never
said it.
apologize. Look at me in police station now. Discount groceries. The shop don't play from. No to white struggles. Uh-huh. Oh no, absolutely. No to struggle love. Absolutely not. I only chase bags like Rihanna. I dig that.
Mm.
Forget about Tinder. Huh? Use the Wegmans app for online dating. Ah, that's funny.
Oh, oh man.
It's like, ooh, what's for sale? Steak? There's gonna be a lot of men in the grocery store then.
There you go.
That's funny enough. That actually might work, but I'm not gonna do that. No, but like, yeah, I was like, all right, but I don't know. I'm willing to give it another shot on account of my therapist. It's like, yeah, go up
Mm.
and just try to make small talk. I'm like, okay, I could do that. I could go up to a cute guy and make small talk, even though I hate small talk. What is small talk?
I mean, yeah.
Like, hey, how you doing? That's small talk.
Mm. Ooh,
What's up?
that one.
Oh, like when you have degree, money, and real estate, there are. I don't know. Considering I'm someone who has all three, nah, not so much. I guess it depends on how you flash your money, though. Man, it's
Mm.
not like it's not like I make like big money. Like I was thinking the other day, like, could I afford to have a house husband? It's like I could. It'd be very tight. Like I could have a house husband.
Hold
But
on.
like,
Let's see. That's what me.
that's funny. Any talk is small talk on your way.
Here we go.
Thank you again for having us on last. It's weird seeing us in the chat. No, it's not weird at all. I feel like because you guys are always like in the chat and like also like on Discord and everything, and like a lot of us have known each other like for years on Twitter prior. Like it doesn't really seem that weird. So like I'm not too worried about it. That's on the show. Oh, thanks. Yeah. No, we appreciate you being on here.
Yes. Yes.
Pick up dude getting anxiety meds. Oh man. Oh man. That's funny. I feel like everybody has anxiety though.
Mm.
Like I feel like if you're a millennial, you just kind of have anxiety to some extent. Why would Toby be drunk? He's not drunk.
No, Toby is not drunk. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, he is taking care of some business. There we go. He's taking care of some business. That's all I'm gonna say. He's taking care. Okay, Michigan. Be weird if you want to. Okay.
Are you
Okay.
like watching a football game or something or a
No,
sports game?
no, well,
Is there football now? No, football's not now.
no.
that's that's how much into sports I know.
No. What was I gonna say? Well,
Or-
over the weekend we had a thunderstorm that was pretty fascinating in its own right. And the way how the clouds are looking, I have been looking for today, it looks like there could be another one brewing. And so even
Mhm.
now I'm just kind of looking out my window and it's like it's like rain clouds, but you could tell that it could possibly produce a thunderstorm, depending upon if the conditions are right for it. So I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, okay. And I thought I heard some thunder, but it was a car just speeding down my street. But still, it was it's just still one of those things where you just look at the clouds and be like, man, I hope that it doesn't get super crazy. But live in Michigan, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. And they say that Michigan is like the Florida of the North or something. I've heard
Uh, I mean, sure,
maybe when it comes to
we
weather.
yeah, we well, but what we used to call Michigan is the twin sister of Colorado, especially Colorado Springs, just due to the fact the weather is so unpredictable at times. It was
Hmm.
like, yeah, if Colorado Springs gonna have a twin sister on Xanax, it'll probably be Michigan. So like, yeah,
That's funny.
that sounds about right. And even then, just meeting people from Michigan that lived, or meeting people that was living in Colorado Springs that moved from Michigan because of the similar weather patterns. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
got it. Like, completely understand. Completely understand. So yeah.
Yeah. So, um, do you want to? Sorry, I'm just looking over at the comments.
Yeah, I've been watching the comments too. Really
Yeah.
interesting. Comments is interesting. And surprisingly, it's like, what the comments are doing. They're kind of actually setting us up for our topic for tonight, believe it or not.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm. Believe it or not. So, you want to kick it off?
Uh, yeah, sure. Um, tonight's topic, as you can see in on your device, whatever you're looking at, exploring the dynamics of Black families. Um, like we have Father's Day this month, and
Mm.
and I don't want to just like be all like, oh, if there's a father, no, it's not like just about that bullshit. It was literally we came up with the idea was because Father's Day, like we should talk about families, like family dynamics. Um, because like I feel like when people picture a family, they think of like mom, dad, children, and families are like a lot more different and mixed than that. Like it could be like your mom and your stepdad, and like your step siblings, your half siblings, aunts,
Mm.
uncles, grandparents, friends, of your parents and things like that, and even just friends. Even like the people that you choose to be your family rather than the people that you're born, or the family that you're born into. Um, so like we were just trying to like pretty much to like talk about that, but I don't want to like just kick it right back to you, Ron. But you are the father of the stream because you are a father.
Oh man, here we go. Uh oh yeah. So what I was gonna say too was a lot of this is coming from what has been seen
Hmm.
and what's kind of been talked about a lot is how the household, especially when it comes to black families,
Mm-hmm.
how the household is kind of changing in a way where
Okay.
a lot more and I'm gonna pretty much piggyback off of what Mateos is saying because what Mateos is saying is there's some truth behind it, but at the same time, I would like to counter that. Just
Okay.
just due due to the fact that this topic, and especially with the month, with everything going on, it's like we need to flip the script on what it means to be a black family, especially a black family living here in America, you know, and and actually just flip the narrative because a lot of times when we think about the dynamics, um, when we think about the dynamics of the black family, it's like okay, we know that mom is the pillar. You know, we know that mom is pretty much the backbone, and mom is that central figure that everybody runs to no matter what's going on. And even if you don't have a mom biologically, you still have that mother figure that's pretty much predominantly in your life, right?
You mean like
And
be like a grandma or a aunt?
hmm yeah, like
Okay.
a grandma or an aunt or me or even like a older cousin, you know,
Mm,
who could be roughly around about your mother's age, you know, it's like your mom's sisters, or
gotcha.
even if you don't like that kind of a deal, or even if you don't have even if your mom doesn't have siblings of her own, you know, the her aunts and uncles' children who are roughly around about the same age, again, you know, they have that same characteristics. And so when we think about that, and it's like, well, okay, well, where does the father play in the role? Where does the father kind of aids in this dynamic? And matriarch more so like it like a matriarch, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
more
that's what I was
so.
thinking. When you said
More so.
like the woman is like the are you saying like this is like particular for black families? Like in your like point of view?
Uh-oh. What's up?
Um like you feel like it's like women are the backbone in like black
Mm-hmm.
families like in your point of view?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And even then, you know, the reason why I say that is because in the neighborhoods that I lived in the neighborhoods that I grew up in, a lot of times I would see like the moms. I would see moms. I would always see moms. Very rarely, where I would see the dads in the picture. Very rarely, you know. And even then, when I was growing up, especially in Grand Rapids, of course I had my dad and I had a stepmom. And so they were both were seen. But a lot of my friends so like their mom was more so involved. Like their mom was there. And when asked like, you know, hey, where's your dad? And this and the third, like, oh, my dad lives somewhere else, or my dad's not here. My dad is, you know, gone. You know, it's
Mm,
like,
okay.
okay, I I don't understand, but okay. As I got older and I had kids of my own, it kind of made an emphasis of okay, I know I can't change the community itself, but I could change how my household is viewed
Right.
and be that active father and be that active father figure, not just for my kids, but for the kids in the neighborhood, you know, and even then for the kids at school, because a lot of times their fathers are not even present And so when I show up and I go to school and I look at them, give them hugs and whatnot, it's like, hey, there's Mr. Marzeg, can look to him as a father figure. He doesn't mind playing around with us. He doesn't mind talking to us. He does get us in check in it when we need to, but because of the fact he does it because he cares, you know, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And it helps because now it's like it changes the mindset. It changes like, okay, we know that he's here not because his kids are here, but because of the fact he cares about the other kids that are around his children. And
Mm-hmm.
even then is like what the principal said, like, some of these kids, they don't have a very positive, strong black male role model in their lives, let alone you're probably like the only black male that's positive that they're going to see. And so
Mm.
as long as you um continuously show them, like, yes, you're here to work, you're here to have fun, but at the end of the day, as long as you remind them that yes, there are black males that are positive, that are strong, that are secure in themselves, and they do not mind pulling you to the side and say, hey, you shouldn't be doing this, but how about think things from this perspective? Or how
Mm-hmm.
look at things from this angle? And just challenge them, and see what happens.
Right, true. Like I remember a few years ago, like I don't think I even like really read the articles, like just like reading the headline of an article.
Hmm.
And it said something like, like that whole stereotype of like black men not really being, like being like absentee fathers and not really being a part of like the children's lives is like
Hmm.
essentially debunked at that point where like, black fathers are definitely, very present in children's lives, especially now, I guess maybe as opposed to however many years ago. So I guess what you were saying, like when you were growing up, I guess like when you were growing up, I guess that was like sort of the case kind of everywhere. But today, you're saying that that's still the case.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah. And yes, definitely. And even then, just to kind of put things in perspective, the city that I live in, it's a very small rural city
okay,
in Michigan.
right,
It's really close to the Michigan Indiana border. So, if anything, I'm no more than like 10, 15 minutes away from the Michigan Indiana border, no
okay,
matter for the most part. Okay. The city that I live in has the highest black population in the whole county.
really.
In the whole,
Oh, and
yes.
the whole count. Oh, right, 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 right. Oh, so that's not a
Okay.
lot, right?
So it's not so no, it's not a lot. And so when you think about it, let's say there's 5 cities that make up the one county that I live in. Our city has the largest black population, period. And
Okay.
so once you start looking into that, like, okay, since we have the largest black population, like how many families are single parent households where it's the mother that's pretty much involved or pretty much the one at home. And we could say about 50% of the time it's going to be the mom, where the biological dad is nowhere in the picture, whether the biological dad is in jail, is on drugs, or it's died because of whatever factor, or is off doing whatever the case may be. And so it creates that dynamic where now you get these kids who are coming to school, and of course they have their uncles, they have their grandfathers, but they don't necessarily have anybody that's like an actual father figure that can steer them in the right way,
Mm-hmm.
and again, challenge them in the way where they need to be challenged, and especially when it comes to the black males that's represented in my school as well. Even in the school, even within the school district in itself, is like, again, the black male population out of one, two, three, four, out of like five elementary schools is very small, very small. I would say it's
Mm.
about. I would say it's about. If you put up all the kids together, it's about 20 that are like boys that are
Oh
black.
shit.
It's about 20, and
Yeah, that's
then
like I could fit in like a classroom. That's crazy.
yes, like literally, like if you took all the black boys from all of the elementary schools and put them together and have them in one classroom, they could fill up a classroom by themselves. Easy,
And that's it.
easy,
Just one
easy.
class. Okay.
Just
Wow.
one
Okay.
classroom, easy. And then the black girls, they're pretty much double, so they could
Hmm.
pretty much fill up two classrooms by themselves. You
Okay.
know, and again, it's still a relatively small number, but at the same time, it kind of gives you a picture of what I'm actually dealing with in my city when I go to work, pretty much every day that I can. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the look on the face, like, okay, you're still here. And even when I got hired in, they're like, okay, well, who are you? Like, whatever. We don't like you. You're not a teacher. But the more that the principal has given me like that authority to be like, hey, you need to do this because he's an adult. Reiterate that you are an adult. You may not be a teacher, you may not be their father, you may not be anything close to them, but because of the fact that you're still an adult in this building and you are basically in charge to watch over them, let them know.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, there's been times where I had to raise up my voice in the lunchroom to tell them to calm down, and like the whole cafeteria goes silent, where
Mm.
people are coming in like, "What's going on? Like, why there's nobody talking?" Like, we got scared. We thought somebody was doing something wrong. Like, yeah, they've been doing something wrong. So and so told them to be quiet like three times. So and so told them to be quiet like four times. And so and so will try to tell them to be quiet, but she's soft spoken, so she can't really say anything. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to be like, hey, stop it. You
And then
know,
everyone just got quiet. Wow, that's power.
yeah. And even then, like, someone she's poking, like, what's going on? And then when they see it was me talking, like, oh, that's what we needed. We needed, like, where have you been for these last 5, 6 years? Like, I've been all over the place. It's just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it was the right moment at the right time for me to be here. And even now, like, as school is ending and whatnot, a lot of the kids that had gave me issues throughout the school year, they've come up, give me hugs. There's one kid, he gave me like the biggest bear hug, and I felt it, not in the physical sense, but I felt there was like, you know, he actually cares and he actually understands. Like, I'm on his case because of the fact, yeah, ha. And even then, when
Yeah, I forgot to boost up this
oh
comment.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and and it's funny because a lot of the kids, especially within the last past couple of weeks, like, Mr. Marzette, are you coming back? Are you coming back to teach? Are you coming back to do this? Are you coming back to do that? And even the staff members, like, hey, are you coming back to help out? The kids really love you, and we're losing a lot of people, and we would hate to lose you because of whatever else. I'm like, listen, I don't even know what's going to happen to me, over this whole summer break. Like, I don't even know. So it's
Right.
like, I would love to come back. As far as what capacity goes, I don't know. And so they're like, well, why don't you come back as a parapro? Like, okay, well, what is that? Like somebody who sits down with the students and help them to read. I'm like, ooh, I can do that because I actually like to read. I like to read. I love to read. Got in trouble for reading. Don't ask how, but just know I got in trouble for reading. And they were like,
I
yeah,
remember those. I remember those kids who got in trouble for reading because,
yeah,
like, instead of paying attention to the teacher, they'd be reading.
yeah, yeah. But even still, like me working in the school, okay, I get caught reading a book. Like in like the most random odd places. I'm reading a book, and the principal sent me an email and was like, hey, you're not supposed to have a downtime, blah blah blah. You got to fill out. Like, okay, so you're telling me that I can't read a book in front of kids at a school, like let alone a black male reading a book in school full of kids. Why is that an issue?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've seen me do this. You've watched me. You've never said anything up until this point. Like, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not want me to say that reading is cool and whatnot? And even then, talking to my, they're not necessarily my bosses, but I look at them. They're like, we're equals. I just don't have the same title and position that they have, but
Gotcha.
I'm pretty much underneath them. And
Gotcha.
so talk to them
Like your
about it. Like,
supervisor.
you could call them my supervisor because the principal, she's my boss, and then the two ladies who I'm under, they're like my supervisor, but they don't treat me like I am underneath them. They treat me as if I am I'm their equal. I just don't have the title, position, or the money like they do. So it is
Mm-hmm.
weird. It's weird. Yo, for real, like Rocky, for real, for real, for real, for real. And
It
even
was all
then,
good just a week ago.
it was all, yeah. Oh man, and even then they're like, we don't understand why. It's like it's not harming anybody. Like, if anything, that's probably like the best thing anybody can do in this building is get caught reading a book, especially if it's something that the kids are interested in reading anyways. I'm like, yeah, I know because I'm in the library every now and then. I would read a book. The kids were like, "Hey, what book are you reading?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm showing them." They're like, "Is it good?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's actually really good. You should check this book out. You should read it yourself. I think you might like it." Okay, and it would just trickle. It would trickle, and even then, I've been finding myself reading the Percy Jackson books. You know,
Okay.
and those are interesting. Movie is trash, but the books is very interesting.
feel like
No
that's
comment.
like I feel like that just always goes across the board. Like the books are always better than than like the movie or the TV show.
Mm, I would say the only one that kind of actually kept true was the Harry Potter movies. I think as far as like the closeness to the books, Harry Potter was pretty much spot on,
Okay.
very much spot on, very much. Even then, I read all the books for Harry Potter, saw all the movies for Harry Potter, and I could kind of like eyeball like where that scene took place in the book and whatnot. So like, okay, so if they put every detail in Harry Potter in the movies, yeah, Harry Potter would have been like a good 6 hour movie. Easy, easy. Dumbledore said calmly, right? Oh man.
I've honestly
One of the
never read any of the Harry Potter, or I think I've watched maybe 2 or 3 of their movies, and I'm like, I occasionally think, should I do it? But like, I'm not really a bit into like fantasy. Like, I literally just
Mhm.
started like, it's gonna sound funny. I literally like just started like reading like pretty much this year as a
Okay.
joke. Meaning like actually like, because normally if I read a book, it's usually like kind of like an autobiography of like a comedian or something. Like I have
Mhm.
like Issa Rae's book. I have Aziz Ansari's book, which is called like Modern Romance. Lena Dunham's book. I like, or sometimes just like books that I hear about when I'm like listening to podcasts. Like, there's like this one book called, I think it was called Casual. And I have it. It's just like, it's like a big, like the cover is just a big eggplant emoji. And it's like about this guy who um, he was like a serial monogamist. And
Mhm.
he finally, and like one of his good friends just came back from like Woodstock.
Mhm.
And, he's like, man, I want to go to Woodstock, but you can't really like bring a girlfriend at Woodstock. So he was like, I got to like stay single for a whole year. And he's like, hasn't been single in like God knows how long. Cause you'd always get into like long ass relationships and then break up and get into
Mhm.
another long ass relationship. So he decided to like be casual where he was just have casual sex. And it's actually a really good book. It's a true story. It's like
Oh,
the guy
nice.
who spoke about it wrote it. Um, but like for me in books, it's just been like, because when the thing, like the books that people like, I don't really like fantasy. I'm not really into.
Mhm.
Like I've tried, like I have Dune, tried reading Dune. Like I have some of the Game of Thrones books. Tried it. It's like I just can't. And I follow this one dude on Twitter. I forgot his name's like Vala something. Like he has like a fuck ton of followers, and he's always posting positive shit. He's like some tech guy, I think. And he keeps like posting like the same stuff. So one of the things he keeps posting is like, if you want to fall in love with reading, read what you love. And I'm like, what is it that I even like?
Mm.
So and I was like sitting there things like, you know what? I like romance novels. Like I like romance. Like comedy, funny romance. And I was like, I actually do have like this romance book. Let me actually like read it. And I actually like read it and finished it. And now I'm reading another book. So small tangent, but it's
No,
like,
you're good.
yeah.
I'm laughing at Rocky's comment.
What does it
That's
say?
hilarious.
What a man was reading in a school. A black man was reading in a school. You got to make this, even more dangerous. A black man was
Yes,
reading at a school.
it's cool. Oh,
Reports say
details
that
at
he
11.
works at the school. Allegedly, he works at the school, and he was reading at the school, interacting with students.
Yes. Oh man.
Interview one of the students. Like, yeah, I asked him what he was reading, and he said he was reading one of the Percy Jackson books. And I asked him if it was a good book. He said, yeah, it actually was. So I'm thinking about picking up that
Right?
book too. But it's awesome as an audiobook. Ooh. I don't mind audiobooks. I don't mind like I haven't listened to an audiobook in a long time, but like when I used to drive into work, um I would listen to like some audiobooks because
Mhm.
I was like subscribed to Audible. So I listened to like Trevor Noah's book, which is like another one of those like comedian like autobiography kind of book things because I guess I like those. But Trevor Noah's book, if you listen like in the audiobook, he narrates it himself. And you know how he's really good at like impersonations and things like that. So it's a really
Mhm.
fun listen.
Nice.
Yeah, but I agree. I think I would count audiobooks as reading. Some people don't think so, but I count audiobooks as reading.
I do too.
Hmm.
I do too. I mean, the last audio book I got from Audible was the Spiral. It's the Spiral Wars um audiobooks, and I've listened, read books one, two, and three, and I'm thinking about renewing my membership and getting the rest of them because they're like really good listens. And I like the narrator. The narrator does a good job as far as making you feel that you're in the book, that you're in the story, and that you could actually see what's going on. It's like, holy crap! Like I may not be able to do that, but I will listen to it and go on and on and on. But then again, like I have a bunch of other books that I have still yet to finish reading.
Mm,
I have still yet to finish reading, but I will get there eventually. I will get there.
okay.
I think you spelled that right.
Yeah. I don't know what. Everything seems spelled correctly.
Hmm.
Maybe not
Hmm.
Momoa. I think it's Momoa. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Yeah, I wish I was a big reader as a kid. I was a big reader, like the kid who'd read.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that was not me. I wish it was though. Like a part of me,
That was, oh
yeah.
man, yeah. I got in trouble with my dad. Got in trouble with my dad and my stepmom for reading. I'll be under my book. I had a flashlight. I'll be underneath my covers reading a book. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going to bed. Like I know, but this book is like really interesting. You put that book away. Like I can't. It's interesting. So I'll shut off the light and they'll walk away. I'll listen to them go down the stairs. I'll click the light back on and I'll continue reading. As soon as they come back up the stairs, I'll turn the light off, pretend I was sleeping. I think I finished like the majority. I think I finished the majority of my Harry Potter books that way. I finished. I finished the majority of them that way. Majority of them. But yeah,
I guess
and again, go ahead.
you just have a knack for getting caught reading. Like
Yes, I do.
maybe you shouldn't.
Like
Maybe you shouldn't read.
I,
I'm
I don't
kidding.
know.
Of course you should
I
read.
don't know. Yeah, but no, but again, I know we've been on the tangent, but as we're talking about the exploited dynamics of the black families, like that's critical. That's huge. That is huge. That's key. And a lot of times you don't get a lot of kids who like to read, especially black kids. Trying to get a black kid to read is like, no, stop that. But but I, I'm happy to see that my daughter, she's a bookworm as it is anyway. You give her a book and you tell her to read it, she will actually read it. She will sit there and she will read it and she will tell you everything that's going on. My youngest son, yes, he didn't like to read, but the more we've encouraged him to read, the more like, go ahead and do it. We see that his reading level has been improving. We see his comprehension has been improving, and we see that his vocabulary for a second grader has been improving as well. So I'm like, dude, yes,
Yes.
like keep that up, keep that up. But even still, like my daughter, she's been reading like at 2, 3 grade levels above what she's currently at. So like case in point, when she was in what first, second grade, she was already reading at a third, fourth grade level, sometimes fifth grade level. And even then, as she's getting older, she's basically at the level where if she wanted to read like a high school level book and comprehend it, she probably would. She probably would.
That's
Maybe
awesome.
maybe throw in a college book, and see how she handles that. She probably would. She probably get mad because she can't understand it, but she would at least make the attempt to at least read it and have some type of dialogue about it. And that's her. Like, hey, this is what I read. Did you know? Da, 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 da. Oh no, I didn't know about that. What you know about that? well, back in such and such, this happened, and oh yeah, just go around and go around and around. And I love it. I love it. I
Hmm.
love it because I want them to be able to take something, learn something, and allow them to get better. You know. Mm-hmm.
Everything is video. Um,
Yes.
and kids just aren't like learning too much these days because of. And it was funny. I was actually just having a conversation with Mark, who who comes on the chat and sometimes comes on the stream with us
Mm-hmm.
about it today because he's a teacher, and he was saying how like a lot of these kids don't you know like and you'd hear teachers talk about this in general now, especially like because of like the whole like no child left behind law, like
Mm-hmm.
you pretty much like have to pass the kid on to the next grade. And a lot of these kids are graduating illiterate, not knowing how to write,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing how to not really knowing how to read. And like
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it, like what's making, like what's popular, what's making the most, like you have reels on Instagram, you have TikTok, you have YouTube, you have these people who are talking to you. So like you can understand, but like you can't read or write really.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have, like a giant population of people who can't read or write, they can't really think for themselves because they can't really get the information themselves.
Yes.
So only like what people are telling them is what they know. So that's and it's really like it's very serious. Like it's a very serious issue that
Oh
is
yeah.
yeah, and it's just like if they just like were held back a grade, like they may have gotten a different teacher that could have taught them differently on how to like read or write or probably actually enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um, so like it's really like it's like it's pretty tragic. Like and like reading is such a huge thing because like
Mm-hmm.
and I'd say this is probably one of the main reasons why I wish I read more was like like was like a book where I'm like an active reader was like so I could like learn new words and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
be more articulate and better at grammar and all that good stuff because I was when I was like in high school and college because you had to like read and write a lot, but like afterwards it's like you don't really have to.
Right.
Like I'm not out here like reading uh I don't know what to like I'm not I don't know like what are like I'm not reading like science journals. I guess that's probably like the most well written shit, like honestly.
Yeah.
Like, but even like novels to this day, like I mean, I'm reading and I'm comprehending and I'm understanding, like like the books that I read. But it's if I were younger, reading like more advanced things, which I guess I kind of was, because I was like in honors classes or whatever. But like if I was like a little kid super into books, it would have been different. And I know that, and I just sort of wish I was like really into that. But
Right.
kids nowadays are just like watching videos and like people are telling them how to think, and
Mm-hmm.
then they are incapable of going and looking it up themselves.
Right. Right. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Hey,
I
Toby.
By the way,
Hey, Toby.
deep
Yeah.
conversation. I was listening to the beginning of the stream, but unfortunately with the movement, I couldn't watch everything on my data, so I didn't actually get to hear much of what was being said after. Like, I don't know, there was some time ago, but glad to see everyone's active. The chat is active and chatting like normal.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
I already told, my lovely co-host, but just to let everyone else know, I had gone car shopping since like 3 p.m. I went to drop off my rental car at the Enterprise, and then I was like, since I'm here, let me check out the car sales.
Mhm.
Which took like an hour. Like that wasn't bad. I test drove 2 cars, both me and my roommate. By like 4 p.m. or so, it was basically done. We left. And then we were like, why don't we go to another dealership, which we did. Barely spent time there. Then we went to another dealership, which is actually where I bought my first car. So it's actually like maybe 25 minutes from where we live now, but it was closer to my old place.
Right.
It was a different part of Mass. And so that became a much longer ordeal than was expected. It's a long story, but let's just say that a purchase almost happened and then was it's effectively canceled. Not me because I wasn't going to buy today, but my roommate was about to buy it and didn't, so that it just took a long time for certain things to get ran.
Right.
But it's okay. We're back.
I got it.
Yeah, it was a little too much. I was like, I'll just call him on my phone, but it would have been the same amount of data. Don't have a limited amounts of, and then also probably not good quality because it was dark.
You got a point there.
Mhm. Ah, man. I get the whole like almost getting a purchase thing. It's a hard fucking like decision though. I guess because it's so expensive.
Yeah, this is the second biggest thing you can buy after a house. So I mean, like if you think about housing and prices, I mean, yeah, you're not gonna. I guess 100,000 is ridiculously low. You're more likely to see 300 something or even 400 something thousand. But if you think of a car that's like 25K, that's a quarter of like a cheaper house. Like if you're gonna have $100,000 house, 25K is a quarter of that. And then if you're going to like something more expensive, like a Jeep or like a really expensive SUV, you can push 50K, and that's half. I mean, even if you're gonna go to higher house prices, 50K is like a quarter or a fifth of like a home price. So like cars are no joke. Like you own those things, and they're like a huge purchase. So
Family dynamic entry. That's funny.
yes, that's that. Because I made the comment earlier in the chat, and I was like, maybe I'll make this my actual name today. Other option was dynamic programming, but I feel like dynamic programming, yeah, it's like a nice software. It's like an algorithm thing for optimizing stuff, kind of ish. But I just felt like dynamic entry is just it fits better. It's freaking it's dynamic entry. It's Guy Sensei. Come on now. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Good to see you, Mish. And everyone here. Bunch of y'all last week. I heard the beginning where we were like, we talked about the 2-year anniversary and people who came on, and I was hearing some stuff about Africa, and I saw the person in the chat comment about Eritrea. So that was probably like some of the last stuff I heard before I had to like drop out of the live stream.
Yeah. Yeah, so, no, I haven't seen that person comment in a minute, so I guess they probably left.
Yeah. Nice to see new total correlation. But I see not DJ Elf thinking that I'm in the streets. No, I definitely was not balls deep in like a dealership, 3 dealerships. I guess I was in the streets. In that case, I wasn't loyal to any one dealership.
Dealer sheets.
Dealer streets. Is that what you said?
I said sheets, but
dealer sheets. Yes, dealer sheets. I'm dead. It was by the auto industry. Okay, I'm like seeing Chad and some old comments. So I know you guys were having like a kind of a back and forth. So when it comes to the like family dynamics, Black family dynamics, what were we kind of just going on? And I heard some stuff about education. So I don't know the context, but
so like
facts. Oh God.
So Ron was talking about how, like him being a Black man, he's pretty much like a father figure, or at least like just like a Black male figure for a lot of, people at the school, or even just like a father figure in general. So like, and also like in his neighborhood and all that. So he was saying how like he loves to read, and at school, like he was reading, and I guess like one of his higher ups were saying like, oh, you shouldn't, you gotta be paying attention, you can't be reading. And he was like, that's weird, because like it's a good thing to be seen reading, you know, especially as like a black man. And like so we just got into just talking about like books and reading and things like that, and how he would get in trouble for reading when he was like a kid, like because he like instead of going to sleep he'd be reading. And yeah, like I've had friends who told me stories like that. I had to get in trouble for reading instead of going to bed, and I'm like, man, part of me like wished I was like a reader. Like I just never was really until just recently, like this year. Like just talking like because I was like, you know, I decided to try reading what I actually like, and Chad actually made a good comment saying, picking your own books is really a form of independence. And like, I feel like this is like an episode about books and schooling, but honestly, because I was gonna say like in school, you know, they always tell you to like read certain books, and I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, why the fuck must we read like John Steinbeck, The Grapes of Wrath? Like just because somebody way back in the day was like, this has symbolism in it, we must teach this in like high school English class or a separate piece or of Mice and Men. Or I never read To Kill a Mockingbird. A lot of people read that. So it's like these like particular books were always like having to read, and I was like thinking the other day like it'd be great if like kids could just sort of pick their own books, and you know, like yeah, and like maybe just do like a book report on the books that they pick up and read. It's like, oh, let's like try to find a book within your genre that you like that's based in like the 1920s or something. It could be like sci-fi books based in the 1920s. It could be like fantasy novels based in the 1920s. It could be like romance novels based in the 1920s. Especially for like something like in high school, you know, so you could like read something that's a little bit more like grown. And I feel like that like for kids to kind of like enjoy themselves in school, they gotta like do things that or read things that they actually like. Because like I think the reason why I had like this huge disdain for reading is because they just had me reading shit that I didn't want to read. You know, you know, like I didn't want to read. What was that boring at like Jane Eyre?
Jane Eyre.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing you don't even know. It's not even worth it.
There you go.
Wuthering Heights. Like
I don't know if I know that either.
I like Things Fall Apart though.
You know, I was like, apparently a lot of people read that in school. I never read it, and that's literally my tribe. The guy China, I should know his name.
Chinua Achebe.
Achebe, yeah, there we go. He's
Yeah.
Igbo, and I'm Igbo, and apparently, you know, that's a pretty big deal in school. Yeah, I never really heard of it when I was in school. It wasn't until later that I kind of heard. Oh, because he passed away. But even before he passed away, I heard about the book, and someone mentioned like, "Yeah, I read this book, Things Fall Apart in Nigeria," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't. I guess I'm missing out." But it's funny because I had some black friends. Like both of them were in computer science, so I knew them through like Black Computing, Diversity Computing Networks. Both of them are Nigerian, around my age, probably a little younger. And they both were, you know, Igbo, like me. And so we connected. Like I knew them two separately. Then they met. We all had like a great time a few years ago at a conference. They were like getting in a really deep conversation. And at one point, they're like, "I don't really like this book. It just sounds like an old Nigerian. Like the way it's written is just like old Nigerian man," which is hilarious because it's like it was almost like they took issue with the. I don't know if it was a patriarchal. But they kind of just felt this. So they felt like, yeah, it's just the perspective of like an old Nigerian man, and I just felt like it just sounds like one of those like old. Like you just, I don't know. It was funny the way that they described it, and I was like, "Well, I've not read it, so I don't know." But they were like, "Yeah, it's not that interesting." I feel like it's not that like. I don't know if they have a problem with it. I don't want to say they have a problem with authority, but it just was like almost the way they could like look at an old white perspective. It's kind of how they saw that book. It was like, yeah, I get it. It's for the culture, but it just wasn't that interesting to them. The way it was written, the way it sounded. Man. Like this is definitely a cool topic, and I'm not opposed to like talking about books and reading and stuff. Because whatever, we are a very fluid stream. But
It's good. Good to be fluid and on a month like this.
The that was a pun, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it was. And you missed it.
No, I definitely I had to make sure I caught it. The Malleable Council.
There we go.
Yes.
Niche, Toby beat you. Niche,
Yeah.
Toby beat you.
Yeah.
The Ernest Hemingway of Nigeria. Oh my goodness. I don't even know if I've read a book by Ernest Hemingway. Or if I have, I just didn't know it was by him.
No, I think I have.
I watched that one movie. I think it was Ryan Gosling and Owen Wilson, where like Ernest Hemingway showed up in like the modern era. We had to watch it in our high school English class. It was okay. It was a very chill movie. Gotta look up the name of this book. Ernest Hemingway movie.
I think Rocky made like a great point though. About like it's better to just have like books that are more modern and convey the same messages, but yeah, like there's no sense in like reading like some old ass books, because I'm like, I feel like I can understand like in terms of relatability, because I can say, oh, in the book The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, which was like a book I actually did read, at least for the most part, and like what it was about and like what ended up happening, like essentially the book was supposed to be about, well, it is about like the shitty living situations and like the job situations that immigrants have to endure, even though like the main character's name was like Yorick. I think he was like Swedish, but like he worked at like a meatpacking like place, and he like chopped the meat and like the it was very unsanitary. It was absolutely disgusting and just. But like he struggled to make money. He struggled to like to make ends meet. He like his answer to everything was just like, I will work harder, and it just wasn't enough. And like he couldn't really or like he was either struggling or couldn't really provide for his family and his wife. And that was like the main issue of the book, was like like the shitty living situation that immigrants have to endure. America saw that as, holy shit, like the meatpacking industry is so unsanitary, it's disgusting, we got to make it cleaner. It's like, I mean, yeah, but like that wasn't the whole point of the book. That wasn't what Upton Sinclair was really trying to convey. It was more so what immigrants have to endure. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we have more sanitary, like like meat packing and like butchering and all that. I can't remember the exact term, like, but like there was more to it. Like it sort of reminds me of like George Floyd dies, and then now we don't have like Mrs. Butterworth, like, or Aunt Jemima rather. We don't have Aunt Jemima. It's like, oh, like, okay, cool. Nobody asked for that. I didn't give a shit if Aunt Jemima existed. But that's all that changed. Anyway, sorry for the random ass tangent. But yeah, like, so it's good to like, I guess in a way, have these books, but I feel like it just gets kind of redundant, because I think it'd be totally cool if there was just like a new like generation of books that children read, like it would be cool if like millennials and Gen Z were reading like more modern day books, that still convey the same message.
Ooh, yep.
What each student loved and planned their lessons using. That is awesome.
That's
That is
cool.
incredible. That's absolutely incredible. His hearts will hit their stomachs. No, I don't like. I actually think Misha's telling the truth here. Like, I think that's literally what you said, Upton Sinclair. Or maybe that is a joke. But I think I have actually heard that though. I could be wrong. For America's hearts, but hit their stomachs. And gun fights with police back in this. First, you know. Should be taught like a noob on their first RPG. Start them on easy move. Yeah, I agree. To ease them into
Yes.
reading, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
The classics and War and Punishment, or War, whatever, Crime and Punishment.
Ooh, don't remind me of that book. I hate
never read
it.
I did not take AP Lit for it. I very much chose to do not do that class.
Yeah, I don't think I took AP Lit either.
That was not going to happen. It was not.
Yeah.
Because the books that you had to read and how much, no.
Oh, yeah, true.
I don't really like writing, but AP Lang actually was a very enjoyable class. But Lit, no, absolutely not.
That's true. No, I made sure not to take those classes either. Because I knew that. I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be like probably reading like Plato and all this crap.
The Iliad, the Odyssey, some of the oldest classics. I mean, it would be interesting to read some of something because I took honors English, which basically was a literature class. So I didn't realize that like senior year, whether you took AP Lit or not, it was like basically literature. And we read Beowulf, we read the Tales of whatever.
The Canterbury Tales.
Yeah. By Chaucer, I think.
Yeah.
We read some, like, we even read like we read a bit of the Bible as well as like a Mayan origin story, whatever. Yeah, origin story, I think is the term. And so it was interesting, like kind of seeing some of these different things, but it was manageable. Versus like if you had to do that for like an AP. But anyways, yeah, I like with reading and books, I really wish that I kept up with it in some ways because I used to read a lot when I was younger. Like I love playing video games for sure, but I also liked reading. Me and my brother, we read a lot. He got me into Artemis Fowl. I think I got him into the Alex Rider series. I think Bobby Pendragon. We both read that. I may have been the one to start it. I didn't finish it, which I like that book took a whole turn like as he got. It just like things got worse and worse as he read. And I never read the last book or two. Series of Unfortunate Events was another one that I found. A lot of these books I found from school, and then after I saw the first book, like you had to do book report or something. I was like, let me just keep reading them. So I would keep getting them from my school library, or I would go to my public library. And so I actually really did enjoy reading a lot, but then it fell off basically when I got to college. And the only thing I got to read were my textbooks. And now I'm out of school, and the only thing I read is my keyboard. And the problem with the keyboard is there's not really a good plot, way too many characters, but at least it's all black, so that's something. Yeah, thank you. I'm actually glad that you really, because I've had that joke for years, and I'm just like, I needed a medium to tell it.
Yeah. That's funny. I like it. I was like, where is this gonna go? Where is this gonna go? I was looking forward to where this was going.
I think my brother might have actually low-key been the one who first came up with some of that.
I heard it first from you. That's all that matters.
Hey, I didn't prepare that point for today, Chad. Now that we didn't learn more about you, oh my god. And that was a big thing I heard on the radio about how there was like a very multiracial class, sort of like a class movement with miners in Virginia. And I think that's the first time the U.S. dropped bombs. Oh yeah, I think Mish, you and I kind of chatted about this on Instagram, but like bombs were dropped by the U.S. government to stop basically miners from unionizing or something in West Virginia.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Insanity, like something along the lines of that. Like there was like government federal like crackdowns on people who were trying to unionize, and it was not pretty.
This
and
country's so weird.
Yeah, there's just a lot. Like I'm not as hip to the union like labor rights and things like that as I wish I was. But it's always interesting when you hear about it because you do find that there were like a lot of people of color there was like even like LGBT, like there's a lot of minorities who ended up banding together. In a time when you actually had a bit of that solidarity, um, they could band together and sort of fight for their rights. And of course, you had like MLK, and I didn't even know about this really until I watched that documentary. Like, I've maybe in passing I've heard how MLK has like joined certain other movements, but I didn't know that there was like a big labor dispute in Memphis, basically, right before he was assassinated. And there was a lot of like pushback with like, oh, should he have joined that? Should he have stuck to like, oh yeah, because I think even some of them were like, we don't want you here, stick to civil rights. And I'm like, oh snap. So some of these like histories and these different movements, it can be very messy, especially when there's multiple movements who've kind of tried to co-opt each other's messages, the anti-war movement and everything. And like, I don't really hear about this. Like, it gets talked about in passing, but like, you're trying to cram as much info as you can at that point, because it's like you don't really learn much about what happens after I would say the Cold War. Even the end of the Cold War is suspect if you get to talk about that in school. Like, there was a question, I think, on the AP World. Was it actually I think it was the AP World multiple choice. Like, one thing was like a picture of a Coca-Cola poster, and it was like, what's this an example of? Commercialism, capitalism, something. I'm like, what? This is like a picture of a Coca-Cola ad, like a poster. And it was like in the 1990s maybe, and it was like, what's this an example of? A, B, C, D, E. And I was like, excuse me? How was I supposed to know this? No one teaches you this. What? I mean, I guess common sense said the answer was probably commercialization. But I was just like, what in the world? Like, you don't learn anything in history that's even close to like modern day. Even some things from the 1900s early, you don't really learn that well. I don't know, man. Now what people expected isn't happening. Yeah, man. It actually could have been globalization, because it might have been something like that. But so I don't know if the two of you all had something you were gonna say before I.
So like, I was just noticing the time, and I know that Erica Rhodes, her election is gonna. I think voting ends at 8 p.m. Yeah, I don't think it's 7.
Oh, PST.
Exactly.
Oh shoot!
That's in a half an hour.
I need to edit this. Good call. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So like, I was just like, kind of like, I was like, wait a second, let me. At first, I thought it was at 7. Because usually that's when like polls always close like all like everywhere. It's usually like at 7. But I was like, no, I think hers is at 8. So I'm like, holy shit, let me like look at Twitter to see what's going on. Like, nothing is really being said, and I was like, oh, I guess because it's not over, so no one's saying anything. Like, it's like nerve wracking, because usually when like Twitter isn't saying anything, it's like, oh no, it might be bad news. It's like, oh, because it's not even over, so that's why they can't say anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm excited. Like, I'm nervous, but I'm excited. Like, she texted me this morning too. You know,
I wish I reached out to her.
Yeah, and it's like, no, she's awesome. Like, she really is.
Yes, she is.
Really is. Like, part of me I wish I could have done like more. But like,
I don't feel that. Trust me.
Yeah, this is like I was like thinking like, oh man, I should actually like, like phone bank, but I'm terrible at phone banking.
Yeah, I did it like a little bit. Most of it went to like just people who weren't registered. Some people picked up, but I did like a little phone banking. I want to say it was probably like September or August of last year. It may have been August, because there was like phone banking coordinated like on Twitter. And I guess I forgot how. Oh, probably Erica reached out to me because they were doing a phone banking party. There were so many opportunities that I wish there was a town hall that they had, and I wasn't able to attend that because of a conflict. Like a virtual town hall that happened sometime last year.
Was it the Bitcoin one?
Actually, it might have. I remember there was one, but I didn't. It was so busy that when I saw the text, it had passed that day. not to mention going to California. I went for a conference, but I meant to reach out to Erica in advance, but because of like nonsense, like that was a crazy time. Weeks after I totaled my car, I had a rental I had to drop off, flight I had to rebook. It, so it wasn't until like she saw me on Instagram. She was like, "Oh my god, you should have told me that you were in like LA." And I was like, "I know, I'm so sorry."
Oh, right, that's true. You were, but you were there for like a really short time, right?
Yeah, it was just like I got there Wednesday, like very late at night, like probably 11 p.m. Pacific, and I left like Sunday. So, you know,
Yeah.
it was a short time. I didn't have as much leeway. I had some, but I didn't really go out to LA much. I mostly just stayed in Anaheim, and that's like a 40-minute difference.
Oh, yeah, like that's, and it's
Those
not like did you even have like a rental car? Or...
we wanted to. I wanted to book it with like some of the people that we coordinated. It just didn't work out. So it was Uber everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's like the shitty thing about like places like LA and like Miami. Like when Ron was in Miami, it was just like, and I had like my shitty car at the time too. So it was just like, it was like Memorial Day weekend. I was like, there's no way I can get to you. Like, there's no way. There is no way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, LA. I don't know if LA's traffic is even worse. I've never been to LA, but I don't know if like their traffic is worse.
Where were you the time that you met up with Erica and
It was Miami. She was in Miami for like this Bitcoin conference.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the picture with Yang, that was the same. That was a different time, or is that the same?
It was the same time. Yeah.
Oh, so he was there too.
Yeah, he was there too. Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that this was happening. What the heck?
Yeah.
Well,
I had to keep it like a secret. So
you had to keep. Wait, what? That
I was meeting up with Erica.
Oh yeah, no, that's chill. I just didn't realize. Like, I guess I wasn't following enough to realize that she was actually going to the conference. Like, I know I've seen her post a lot about Bitcoin stuff, and I've heard about a Bitcoin conference, but I didn't know that that was like happening. And I definitely didn't know that Yang was going because I follow him like physically on Twitter, but I definitely did not like follow the updates enough to know that.
Oh yeah, like it's weird. Like Yang's posts like barely show up on my like one just did about I guess Matthew McConaughey did like a speech. I'll listen to that later. Probably about like gun violence. And Yang just posted saying like Matthew McConaughey has like presidential qualities. I was like,
He almost ran for the governor of Texas, but decided not to, which I don't blame him because it's all fun and games until you start to like actually get into the politics of it. And,
right, exactly.
And then everyone's going to kind of go back to their corners, I feel like, in terms of like what they believe and like he pulled really well against Greg Abbott, but then it's like, wait, what happens when you actually start to take on very hot button issues, especially with guns, especially with abortion, especially the issues that Texas passed these very like quite crazy laws, like especially the guns. I mean, abortion, of course, too, but like they really like passed a law to make it that you don't need a permit to carry. And like Texas already had all these crazy, like El Paso, Waco, not Waco, Odessa. There was like all these like shootings that happened in like 2019 in like Sutherland Springs. I'm like, then they passed, I guess, a bill maybe to help good guys with guns, quote unquote, which of course is like nonsense because I mean it's happened, but it's not. Anyways, don't even get me there. I just feel like, yeah, if I was in Texas, I would take advantage of that law. I would. I'm not gonna lie. I would buy a gun if I lived in Texas. If I like was in a place that was like, I probably wouldn't do it in like a nice apartment complex. But if I lived in like if I had a little bit more of my own space and I didn't have to worry about like other people around, because a part of it is like if someone breaks in, you want to have defense, but you're not gonna want to do that if you're in a place like this, because God forbid you miss. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it's like the walls and the ceiling, and no, that's not good. It could have, really bad things happen.
I can actually hear his voice.
I know.
Oh, good.
Oh, man.
Yeah, all right.
Matthew McConaughey is awesome.
I didn't know much about him really. Like, I'm sure I've seen him in different movies and just didn't realize exactly who he was. But like, he seems like a cool guy. I didn't realize he's actually from Uvalde. Like, what? Apparently, that's his hometown.
Oh.
Because there was an article recently of how he like went to Uvalde with mourners. It's like Matthew McConaughey goes to his hometown of Uvalde. I was like, what? That's very casual. He's at the White House. Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm. And he actually has the kid. He has a pair of shoes of the kid that died there.
Oh my god!
Just to kind of let people know like how serious and how real it is. I was looking at that. I was looking at that article through Microsoft, and I'm like, ooh, you bought the kid's shoes? Like, man, that's tough. Like, I don't care who you are or what you're doing, but it's one thing to say like, God be with the people who lost their kids in the shooting and everything else. That's one thing. It's another thing to bring back something tangible. It's like, listen, this is what's going on. The person who was wearing these shoes, they're not wearing them no more. What are we going to do with this? What are we going to do? What more? How many more of these kids have to be taken in order for us to actually do something?
Yeah.
And it's sickening that we have people in a position of power who do not wield their power correctly, and they've been in there for decades and have done jack squat nothing to help. It's like you give out these empty promises, you get up these empty words, you say something to make your supporters semi happy, but at the same time the community who you're supposed to be serving is still pissed off at you because you just suck as a human being, and then you just suck as a politician, and you just suck overall. It's like, ew.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I believe it. I definitely believe it.
Horrible, man.
One of my old teachers was a survivor of the Parkland shooting.
Wow.
I didn't like they were my rival high school. And so like he was initially at my high school, then I guess he went over to Stoneman Douglas. So it was just like, it was fucking crazy seeing him like on the news, like talking and speaking. I was just like, Mr. Friedlander? And it was like insane. Like people at my job at the time, like one of the, like this girl I was working with, her husband was a teacher at the school, I don't know if he still works there. Was a teacher at the school, and like people at my job, like their kids went to school, and like it was just really like fucking like it was insane. Like I heard about it like before the world did. One of my friends lives right next to the school. Lives right next to Stoneman Douglas, and he heard the shots. He was driving past it. He heard the gunshots. He wrote about it on Facebook, and I happened to see it. Like I was at work just scrolling through Facebook, and I was just like, "Huh, there's somebody's like shooting at Stoneman Douglas." And mind you, this was Valentine's Day, so it's like there's a shooting at Stoneman Douglas, and I just like kind of just like casually said that to like my friend, And like we were both sort of things like I'm probably like a jealous lover or something. I was like, it's shitty, but it's probably like some kind of jealous lover or something. And I sort of just kind of went by on my day. Then I was like, wait a second. I think this is gonna be serious. And then I just kept like looking up and trying to like research and look up something like shooting, something was really coming up. And I was just sitting there having to wait until we heard everything.
Wow.
Like it was it was just like insane. Cause it was just like a normal ass day, like, and then like you're like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. It's like, oh, it's probably like I didn't think it was like at first you're like, oh, it's probably like a jealous lover, it's gonna make the news, but it's just gonna like be like local news. Something like that even happened at my high school where like years ago, like there was like a bomb threat, and then later on there was a stabbing at the school. And like that was just like local news. So I was like assuming it was going to be like something like that. And then but it just didn't like sit right with me. I was just like where Stoneman Douglas is, it's like a pretty affluent area of Broward County.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, this isn't going to just be like a normal shooting. Like as shitty as that sounds, like this isn't like a lover's quarrel like that went tragically wrong, regardless, like a shooting should never happen, especially like in a school. But I was just like, I was probably like a jealous lover. And I was just like, but it just didn't really sit right with me. I was like, no, this is going to be more serious. This is bad. And it was just like shocking to see like, and like I still see it to this day, like just see like people have like MSD strong stickers. Like my doctor, for example, because like my doctor is up in Parkland, he has like MSD strong stickers outside of his doctor's office, like or on the windows. You see like people with it on like their cars. Like my city had that. Like there was like some stuff like banners, like around, and it was just insane. I remember watching Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and like he spoke about it, and it was just like Trevor Noah was talking. Like it was just crazy because it's like, this is pretty much like where I've lived like my whole life, and like just like nobody knows of Parkland. Like they like everybody knows like Fort Lauderdale, but nobody knows like the little cities around. Like nobody knows like Lauderhill. Nobody knows like Margate. Nobody knows Weston. Nobody knows like some people may know Coral Springs. People don't really know like Deerfield, Coconut Creek. Like Parkland, but like it was just like it was just very like I don't know how to like really convey this because it was just like I know people who went to that high school, like like it's just like people's kids go to that high school, like people that you work with kids go to, like it was just like it's like unbelievable. And like I couldn't like the shooting at Uvalde, it just sort of like it really just like tore me apart because like I couldn't really focus at school, at work. It's just like I have to just get off early, and like it was just like bringing back the memories of like what happened like at Parkland, and like I wish I could convey this better, but it was just like it's frustrating. Like this shouldn't happen, because this doesn't like this affects a whole town, a whole city, a whole people, like a whole community, and like it really like like it's really mind blowing when like how close it is to you, you know, like my like one of the kids who died was a swimmer, and he actually had like a full scholarship, I believe, to go to like like a school in Tennessee. And the only reason why I know this is because like my niece and nephew are swimmers, and like they swam on like the same like city team. So like, and now he just couldn't go, you know, to the university anymore because some whack job decided to go and shoot up a school. And then that's, you know, and then it's just like, I don't know. Sorry. I was just. It's hard. And like, it's like, is this just like, and there like a mass shooting? There's like a shooting every day. Like, like, I don't know. Like most people, like a huge majority of people want like common sense gun laws. Majority of people don't want this shit to be happening. You know, like, and we just have like a couple of people in power who are just like corrupt and greedy, and that's why this is happening. Like that's just so massively fucked up. Like it's like it makes zero sense. It's like, oh, like I'm not trying to say like take your guns away or anything. Like, no, it's just like, but if you think that everything is Gucci, if you think everything is just fine, like how it is, like, oh, you know, you just have to deal with that. That's just what you got to deal with. It's just like, no, it's annoying going to the Fort Lauderdale airport and thinking, man, this could be a place where there would be like a shooting, like, you know, someone would just run in, and then hearing that it fucking happens, that fucking happened. Like, I've had that fear prior to it happening, and it happened. There was a shooting at my airport like a couple of years ago. And, you know, like I don't know what they even did. I don't know like if anything has been improved or not. But it's creepy going into places, especially places that have like big windows, and wonder if they're gonna like shoot up, like just come in and just shoot it up. You know, it's like this shouldn't be treated as if it's like a act of God. You know, like nobody would have that much power over my life. You know, like I have plans. I want to do things. You have plans. You want to do things. Your family has plans. They want to do things. And then for you to just like, I don't know, just come in and just like shoot up a place and then nothing happens, essentially, nothing changes. You're just like, it makes no fucking sense. And then like now, you know, like these families and the community of Uvalde and surrounding towns and just all throughout Texas and then, you know, all throughout the country, because there's other people who've, you know, whose children have died to senseless gun violence of mass shootings. Now, like they have to, like, and I remember I spoke about this before, like they have to just change the trajectory of their life and just be like, yeah, now we have to go and like fight for this shit that shouldn't even fucking exist. You know, like this, like, oh, we have to go fight this problem that no other country has. We have to sit here and like fight day in and day out for this problem that no other, like, it's just tiresome. It's like why the fuck do we need to like Like this is shit that can easily be resolved, and it's just not. It's just like it's scary, it's tiresome, it's like an unnecessary stress, and for what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a dark kind of thought where it's like, yeah, you kind of walk by. It used to be like I would think of like cars, like drive-bys. So you're kind of walking by, like, I wonder if this car's just gonna open fire. And it's like a crazy thought to have that's like normal. But that's a thing that I used to think of a lot because I think I was in 5th grade when we had a code red because there was an active shooter, not in our school, thankfully, but the code red was on a bunch of stops, like bus stops of mine. This was in Salisbury, Maryland, which is not even like an area where you would think something like that would happen. It's there's a university there, Salisbury University, but like it's a little bit more remote of a part of Maryland. It's by the beach, like by the ocean, like 2.5 hours probably from where my family lives now. And I always remember I was in 5th grade, and at one point the freaking whatever you call it, the
siren,
the announcements that usually do the bell ringing, they were like code red. Just the voice, like like some voice said it like twice. That was it. And then people like a janitor came by and was like, he's like, like stay down, stay in the room. Like there's no bathroom, no talking, no nothing. And he went away. And so we were just locked in the room and we're just like, what's happening? Like lights were off. We're just crouched sitting. And eventually like, okay, everything's good again. I don't know how long it took, maybe 30 minutes, maybe less. I don't think it was like an hour or more, but we were just like, oh my God, like what is going on right now? And then we found out later there was like an active shooter on these different streets. Like literally some of them were my bus stops that I've been on every day. And I think it was a guy who went to a school, like he went to either a middle school or a high school in the county. And there was some issue. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got apprehended or if he was shot. I don't know who he killed because I know he shot somebody. And at one point, I think he drove past where our school was. Like he drove on the street of our school, but he didn't like go in. So it's not like he was a school shooter, but I think it was just that he was so close to the districts that they did a code red for like all the schools in the county. And like I wouldn't say it was like a traumatizing experience where like I had nightmares or anything about it, but I kind of thought like, I wonder if like we're just gonna walk past a car and they're just gonna open fire and just shoot because why not? That was literally like 2005. It had to be because 5th grade was 2004 to 2005, and I don't think about that at all. Like I just remembered it. Even when incidents happen with schools and shootings, I don't think about that. But now that I'm like drawing back in my deep memory, I'm like, oh my God, that was a thing. Like it wasn't a drill. That was not a drill. We literally were like, we have to stay hidden and locked in our room. And there was a window too. So I'm like, what if someone comes in the window? It's just crazy.
Yeah. I definitely agree with what both Liz, Elizabeth, and Chad said. Politicians make more money for donations by keeping our problems instead of solving them. Yeah, I mean, like, it's sort of weird. It's like because there will always be problems. Like there's politicians in all countries, though. Like we're gonna have issues. We're gonna have like problems. Like we don't need problems of this magnitude. Like we could just like I wish our problems were just like, hey, can we like build a park here? Instead of like a giant gigaplex. And then they're like, no, we have to build a giant gigaplex. I'm like, no. Like I wish that was like the extent of like my problems in politics. Rather than like, oh, like if I lose my job, can I still have healthcare? Like why it's tied to jobs, it's like fucking ridiculous. Like what else? Like just like being paid like so little in terms like when it comes to like minimum wage being like so little. Like I understand that there are people who are like, oh, McDonald's should just be for like like kids or like blah blah blah. And I was like, it can be for both. Like I don't know if it's because I live in South Florida, so there's a lot of immigrants here from different countries, but like I don't see why they can't just work at McDonald's and be able to feed their family something that isn't McDonald's, like be able to feed like be able, to be able to pay their bills and feed their like. I'm not even saying like they need like. It'd be fucking fantastic if they could, make enough money to save up to go on a vacation. Absolutely, but I'm not saying like they need to, like they just, like a living wage, and it's like so ironic that that's even a term. Like any job should provide you with like at least enough money to live. But like that's like this is like a problem that we're all fighting, and people are like, no, that'll cause inflation. No, it's like, oh, like inflation isn't happening, and like, like apparently we're going to be going through a recession. I don't know, like, and it's like wages haven't been brought up. So what are you talking about? Nothing's really happened. Like, yeah, we had like stimulus checks, but what did that really do?
Right, very short term, and that was like a very small fraction of total spending for those like stimulus bills overall. And then of course you had more or COVID relief bills, and then you had more COVID relief where there were no stimulus, and so it's like, it's very easy that they'll probably scapegoat a lot of the like, oh, the stimulus checks, and child tax credit and things, and like it's unfortunate because you'll probably see like people pushing less to give certain policies that help people, and they're a very small fraction of the total spending, but because of inflation, which is a real issue for a lot of people, of course, like I'm seeing these gas prices like crazy, and I admittedly don't go grocery shopping enough to notice all the high food prices, but like I still see everything else, like, so I get it, but I'm hoping that they're not gonna scapegoat actual policies that are like helping, like anti-poverty policies and things, and being like, we're gonna chop this off first because screw people.
Oh man,
Past what?
polls are now closed in California's primary elections.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
If there's like certain places have long lines. I mean, it seems like the turnout's down. I have an article open on my phone that I'm just kind of like checking. It's live primary results. Most of the results are everywhere except California. I don't think California, because like you said, polls just closed. So like Iowa, New Mexico, New Mexico, I think is, that's probably actually Central Time or Mountain Time. South Dakota, I think there's a lot of states that like they've already projected for governor and Senate primaries and others. But California, we're gonna see. And like if the lines are still long in some places, they're gonna of course take everyone before.
Dude, this is fucking nerve wracking. This is fucking nerve because it's like, this is our friend.
Yeah, this is 2 years. I can't believe it's been 2 years because she started her campaign early, like well before the 2020 election even came up. Yeah. See, that's we're still doing. Those 1,200 have held us over for 2 years now. Delicious. 1,200, the 600, and the 1,400. Or however much it was. People just have to pull themselves up. Bruh.
Let's see.
Let's see what happens. For real, though.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying, too. But yeah, I mean, with everything going on in the world and with everything just going crazy, just do the best you can to protect yourself, and even then at the end of the day, you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do. I know that at my school, actually just the school district, we have our own lockdowns, and I'm like, and I asked, I'm like, so if there's an active shooter and I just so happen to bring my gun with me, can I use it? Like, no, you go school property, like, but it's in my car. Can I go to the car and get it? And one of them kind of looked at me as like, would you really do it? Like, I really would do it. It's not on me. but it's on school property. Like I can always park down the street, just because I can walk, or I'd do you one better. I can park in the farmer's parking lot, which is like down the street around the corner, and I can do it that way. I'm trying to help y'all, help me, help y'all as much as possible because yeah, I'm tired of this. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. It's annoying. It's annoying.
Yeah.
No, like seriously, like, and it sucks because it's like you're almost getting more action from concerned parents and people than like the police, right? Like you saw when parents were tackled, right? They were like yelling to go do something, and then literally they were tackled by police when they tried to enter. I'm like, so it's unfortunate that that's like where we are. Like,
Man,
yeah,
it's irritating. It is very much irritating.
yeah. It's just like, oh, well, this is just what we're gonna have to live with. And this is fucked up that it's just like a handful of people that people just keep continuously voting in. So it's like, I don't know, find a candidate who, like you agree with on like everything that the fucking incumbent has, except for like, wants like stricter gun laws. It's like, can anyone find that? Like, what I find funny is everybody wants change. People want change. And yet, like, I forget what the percentage was. It was like a high percentage of people always vote for like the incumbent. The rule the police are not always.
oh yeah, I heard something
That's
about this.
That's true. Yeah, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck is their point then? like, like why? Like, I don't know why. Like, it's just really weird. It's like, okay, they're not obligated to protect citizens. Yet they have like such a massive following, giving off like the false belief that they actually are protecting the citizens. It's like, are they doing that to an extent? Yeah. Like, could they be improved? Oh hell yeah. Like when it comes to like mental health or like special needs, mental disabilities, or just like just like atypical people, they don't quite know how to handle those situations. So like they only just handle it in like what they know. And funny enough, like John Oliver on Sunday, like you could watch his thing on YouTube. I'll link it in the Discord. Like he was talking about like cops in schools, like how I think it was like after Columbine, like they decided to put like a lot of cops in schools to try to prevent shootings, and how that didn't do anything. And in fact, it just like ended up where like police officers just ended up like arresting students and like physically abusing them because they only have cop training. They don't have training in how to deal with high schoolers and middle schoolers and elementary school students. So like, yeah, high schooler is like a big person. Don't get me wrong. It's like, but they are like a big kid. If you like, teenagers are literally just big kids.
Actually,
some of them some of them might be like 6'2", some of them might be like 5'10". But like, if you actually listen to them, you're like, this is a child. This is still a child. Yeah, they're probably gonna be like emotional. They're gonna be like, like erratic. They might like yell, scream, and like do things like, yeah, because this is still a child. This person's only 15. Like, they don't know anything yet.
Yeah, they're not.
But like, I don't know, police officers, some of them don't really know how to deal with that, and then like they end up just like, just being like incredibly rough. Anyway, I'll share the link in the Discord of John Oliver's segment on, I think they're called like SROs.
School resource officers.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, it was good. But like yeah, like police officers in schools like are not all that necessary. Not saying like they're not necessary at all, but they're not really all that necessary.
Yeah, apparently the data is like it doesn't help. Like unfortunately you actually don't have any data showing that it makes schools safer, which is wild because you would think like, oh, of course, right? I mean, I know there's certain fights that got really bad in high school where like cabinets were about to fall over, and like sometimes the resource officer would come, might carry a taser, and then like when they see them approaching, okay, they stop. But like those fights were probably never gonna get that serious anyway, where like someone would have broken it up. But like I don't know, like what has it done in terms of other outsider threats? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
God
Yeah,
damn.
Dare is back. I had Greed. I never had Dare. I had Greed. And like sometimes I think about how like they literally just brought in they bring in someone from like the biggest gang in the country to talk about how gangs are bad.
Imagine.
Like if you think about like policing, it's like it's kind of a gang. Like if you know gang members, or if you know people who know gang members and what they tell you, it's like the police. Like real talk. I'm not even lying. It's like not good. Like they back their own like it's nobody's business. You don't know anything. They accuse you of just like, yo, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like at all. It's like, okay, like, can you tell me about it? Like, no, like it's an insane network, and they're like a lot of them deal drugs too. Like,
Yeah, I've heard about that.
some of them are on drugs. I don't know how much anymore, but like one of my older friends who grew up in New York back in like I don't know, probably like the 70s, maybe like 80s and 90s rather. Like he was saying, like the cops there in New York City were just like coked up. I was like, damn, that's bad. And like they would purposefully like hire people who were just like hire people who were like borderline insane to be cops. So like to kind of get into like the mind of somebody who is bad. Like that's who they would like try to hire. I don't know if that's the case anymore. But that's like what it was back then. But unfortunately, guys, it is late.
Yes.
And we are gonna have to call it a night. But of course, thank you all so much for coming through. It means the world to us. Happy Pride. Happy I feel like this is like another like Toby says like Caribbean American.
Caribbean American. Let's see. Yes, we got all the banners today. We have Caribbean American Heritage Month. It's Black Music Month.
Right, Black Music Month.
Oh, that one too.
Let me double check. Let me check. I think it's just. Oops, did not miss
That's fine.
So there's a whole lot going on this month.
Oh, happy Gil B-Day month.
Oh, snap.
All right.
Okay. Happy soon birthday.
Yeah. Happy
Pride Month. Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. It's like all the flags.
What was it? I was like, I hope homophobes have a very uncomfortable month.
Yes.
I think you shared that.
Yeah. Yes, homophobes have a very uncomfortable, very uncolorful month.
I'm dead.
One of the things I love about Pride Month is that it's just so colorful, and I wish every month was like this. Because then, like, July comes and it's just like all drab and shit. It's like, the hell's wrong with people? Anyway, but alrighty, y'all. It was great having you all come on, and chat
Yes,
with us, and hang.
Yes.
absolutely.
But don't
Ah,
worry, we will be. Definitely catch up with us on Discord. I'll be sharing the link about the John Oliver piece about the RSOs, school resource officers, or SROs. And yeah, and of course you can, come back next Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have some great news regarding Erica Rhodes. Well, we'll most likely talk about that on Discord.
Yeah.
We will be back with another awesome topic, and we look forward to seeing you all.
yes.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Black Music Month. Woo woo.
Woo!
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Yes.
Alrighty, y'all. We're gonna be signing off. We love you.
Love y'all.
Good night.
Night.
Night.